As the deadline for a new city ward map approaches, members of the Latino and Black caucuses are still split on how the map should be drawn. The Latino Caucus have unveiled a map last month that reduces the number of wards with a majority of Black voters. The proposal intends to reflect a growing Latino population in the city. Black caucus leaders want to create a map that maintains 18 majority Black wards. According to the 2020 census, Chicago's Black population dropped by 10%, while the Latino population grew by about 5%. Joining us to discuss the city ward remapping are 35th Ward Alderman Carlos Ramirez-ROSA and 28th Ward Alderman Jason Ervin. Alderman, thank you both for joining us. Alderman Ervin, let's start with you, please. What is the status of negotiations right now?
We have submitted maps to the Committee on Committees and Rules, and we believe that what we presented will pass legal muster and also fairly and accurately represents the city of Chicago.
How close would you say you are to unveiling that map then that maintains the city's 18 majority Black wards that have a majority of Black voters?
Well, I think right now it's in the hands of the committee, and they will be unveiling something fairly soon as it relates to the city in its entirety. I think it's troubling to draw wards for other communities. We pretty much drew wards for the African American communities in the city to maintain the presence that we have today.
And it sounds like it's in the Rules Committee right now, so I'm not sure how limited you are and what you can say, but is it possible to maintain those 18 wards given the city's 10% drop in Black population?
Without question, sometimes you have to look at the percentage of African Americans in certain wards. But there's some wards with upwards of 90+% African Americans, and there's some that are in the 50s, and after the reapportionment, we're in the 40s after the census. So it's basically a puzzle that you're putting together, and it's definitely possible to draw additional wards. I mean, we could have even drawn a 19th ward if we chose to, but again, we want to be fair with everyone and just have a point of maintenance for the 18 wards that we have as a whole.
Now, Alderman Ramirez-ROSA, as we mentioned, your caucus unveiled a map that would reduce the number of wards with a majority of Black voters from 18 to 16 and bring the number of majority Latino wards up to 15. Would the members of the Latino Caucus vote for a map with fewer than 15 majority Latino wards?
The Latino Caucus is following the data. We're following the law, the Voting Rights Act, and we're seeking to also create a map that reflects the diversity of our great city. You know, when we look at the data, when we look at the fact that Latinos are about a third of the city of Chicago, when we see the growth, we believe that 15 majority Latino wards is not just possible, it's an imperative. This is what we really need to achieve as a city if we're going to ensure that we have a map that ensures parity, that has the diversity of our great city, but also that meets legal muster. It's not just the Latino Caucus that has to weigh in on this map. There's legal groups as well, like MALDIF and others that get to weigh in on this map. And ultimately, we want a map that passes legal muster, that groups won't sue and say, look, this is a map that leaves our communities behind.
And sticking with you, Alderman, the Latino Caucus map would not create a ward with a majority of Asian American voters. How should this new map reflect the 31% growth in the city's Asian American population?
Well, the Latino Caucus concept map has a ward that's majority Asian at 49%. We've heard from some Asian American leaders that they believe that a map that is 50% or more Asian is possible. I think we're seriously looking at that. Again, I think we want a map that has parity for all of Chicago's communities, that meets the Voting Rights Act, that follows the data of the 2020 census, and that ensures the diversity of our great city is reflected at City Hall.
Alderman Ervin, same question to you. Do you favor the creation of a ward that includes Chinatown, which has a majority of Asian American voters?
Well, the map that we created does have a ward that includes an Asian majority ward that's over 50%. So not only is it possible, we've actually done it. As it goes back to the map that the other caucuses presented, on its face is illegal. When you try to take other communities out of the equation and use those communities which are protected in order to create other wards, that is a clear violation of the Voting Rights Act. And also in Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, it does not talk about parity. It actually specifically talks against it. So the points that my colleague has made, although well-intentioned, I think do not line up with the law.
Alderman Ramirez-ROSA, I want to give you a second to respond to that.
Yeah, what I will say is that the Voting Rights Act is clear. The law is clear. The Latino Caucus is following the data. We've mapped for what we believe the data supports. And ultimately, the Voting Rights Act and the law protects the Latinx community and the African American community equally. And so you can't make a map that has 18 majority Black wards that comes at the expense of parity for the Latino community and disenfranchises the Latino community. You also obviously can't draw a map that disenfranchises the African American community. So we
But
believe
that's what you did.
data,
That's exactly what your community did.
We believe our map follows the data. We believe that, we've drawn a map that is fair, that represents the diversity of the city of Chicago. And again, what we did is we followed the data, and that's how we got to the map that we are proposing at this time.
A lot of work to do in City Council.
Go ahead.
Alderman Ervin, before we run out of time, I want to ask, so the clock is ticking, obviously. You'll need at least 41 votes by December 1st to avoid a referendum. Do you expect that the council will have a map drawn by that deadline?
I believe that we'll have a map drawn by that deadline. I do believe the map will be drawn. If it goes to referendum, it goes to referendum. But again, I think that the majority of the people of the council will side on the fact of the law, and the law is very clear that you cannot violate one community to go after another. And that's clearly what this map has done. And again, while we talk about other communities wanting to sue, our community stands ready to do the same.
Alderman Ramirez-ROSA, is the Latino Caucus willing to force a referendum to ensure that the new ward map reflects the city's Latino population growth of 5% in this past decade?
I think that there's a sentiment in the Latino community that the previous remapping processes left our communities behind. Our community continues to grow, yet we have not gotten the representation that our community deserves in City Council. And so I think that there definitely is a sense that we cannot allow this remap process to once again leave our community behind and not give us equal protection, not give us the representation that our communities need at City Hall. What I will also say is that, any 10 aldermen can come together and put forward a map of their own if they vote against the map that passes and force a referendum. I think that ultimately everyone wants to work towards compromise, wants to work towards landing the plane and getting a map that works for the people of the city of Chicago by December 1st, as dictated by law. But at the same time, I think the Latino Caucus is clear. We're following the data, we're following the law, and we're looking to get 15 wards to make sure that our community is represented.
I'm sure we'll be talking about this again in a month.
Every Latinx ward has gone down in the last census, so I don't understand how you make that point.
And I'm
if
sorry,
you make the same
Alderman
point
Ervin?
with the Asians, they've got 3 wards of people, but only could put 1 ward together. So we'll have this conversation another point in time, but I thank you guys for allowing us to have it today.
Thank you so much, Alderman Jason Ervin and Alderman Carlos Ramirez-ROSA. I'm sure we'll be talking to you both again in a month, if not sooner.
Very well. Good night.